Coming to Kickstarter this June, John Haynes at Death's Door, the man who rules the world, takes on the Greek god of death in this action-packed all-new John Haynes comic book. Get your copy of the standard and variant editions of John Haynes at Death's Door and lots of other great stretch goal rewards on Kickstarter this June. A Pennsylvania man was arrested and charged with the murder of his child's mother and her pregnant friend. Now, in this incident, which took place in Valley Township, Pennsylvania, your 23-year-old Mamadou Kale, a black man, has been arrested and charged with the murder of his child's mother, Tiara Rodriguez, and her pregnant friend, Kimberly Ortiz Zayas. Now, the police are seeing this as an isolated domestic violence incident, but when I take a critical examination of this tragic murder of a mother and a pregnant woman, it fits right in line with the pattern and profile for beta males that I talk about in my book, The Man Crisis. Now, when I look at the behavior of this Mamadou Kale, it really disproves the point that many of these save yourself black men and passport guys have about these non-black women being a better alternative than black women. Because when I take that critical examination of this whole situation that your Mamadou Kale was having with this Tiara Rodriguez, his baby mama, it looks like he was having the same problems with this Hispanic women that many of these traveling brothers and save yourself brothers say that they're going to have with black women. And it looks like all of the problems that this male was having with this woman were the same problems that many of these guys complain about them having with this black women. But when you look at this whole situation, you can see where the real problem is, and the problem had to do with this male who definitely was not ready for any kind of relationship. And what sadly, he went out here and he pursued a relationship with this non-black woman, thinking that things were going to be better. But the problem was that due to the dysfunctional way that this male was raised, he was not ready for any kind of relationship, and he was not ready because he was out here looking to be this, as I see it, the whoremonger male, and he was not ready to take on the responsibilities of fatherhood. And because he was not ready to take on the responsibilities of fatherhood, what happened was all the pressures of life came down on him. And as these pressures came down on this young man, what happened was he started to become a man in crisis, because as he was trying to deal with a situation he was not mentally, emotionally, or spiritually ready for with a woman outside of his own community, he was running into the same types of problems that many of these black males sit here and complain about bad women. But the sad part is he was not ready to take on a leadership role as a man. And as he wasn't able to take on a leadership role as a man, he simmered and boiled in anger, and he was getting more and more frustrated because he could possibly not be able to take on those responsibilities as related to his relationship. And then as possibly his girlfriend, as the baby mama's girlfriends were telling him to break up with him, this led to the situation escalating and this man possibly winding up becoming more violent. And as he became more violent, this is what led to him participating in domestic violence, possibly for an extended period of time, until he exploded in this rage, where he wound up allegedly murdering the mother of his child, and he wound up murdering the the friend who was pregnant, because when beta males don't know how to solve problems, they look to destroy the people around them who are causing them the problems. And they're thinking that if they destroy the people around them who are making the problems for them, that it'll make their problems go away. Unfortunately, when they go out here and participate in this violence, they wind up making things worse. Now, in the aftermath of this male going out here and allegedly murdering this baby mama, his child has nobody to care for them, and it won't have anybody to care for them. And a woman with an unborn child, her child will not has passed away. So this man has basically destroyed multiple lives because he didn't know how to lead. He did not know how to navigate through his emotions, and that was all because he did not have the male life skills or the male survival skills in order to take on the responsibilities of being a man. So this is one of those situations that sadly happens when you have a male who wants to take on the role of a man and he's not ready for manhood. And sadly, we've got a lot of males out here like this in the world, and these guys are basically landmines out here. And it's not a question of if they're going to go off, it's a matter of when they go off and what damage they do to society when they go off. And this male, when he went off, because he couldn't probably handle the pressure of the responsibilities of a man, the constant of these other women in the ear of his baby mama telling them to get rid of him because he was probably fitting all the stereotypes of the irresponsible black man that these non-black women have heard. She probably wanted to get rid of this man or possibly get child support out of him. And this is what led to this whole situation winding up where this guy wound up exploding in rage. And sadly, 2 women are dead, 1 child is an orphan, and another child wasn't born in the world, all because this black male didn't get the understandings of how to navigate life as a man. And sadly, this is a case of what happens when your black male thinks, oh, I'm gonna go hop the fence, I'm gonna go get me a non-black woman. But the common denominator in this situation with your Mamadou Kale is that your black man is the one in the situation making the problems, and the problems come because he has not been prepared for leadership, he has not been prepared for stewardship, and he has not been prepared to be a head in the standard of God's natural order. No, this guy didn't want to be a husband to a wife, and what he wanted to do was go out here and have this baby mama at 23 years old, and he wasn't ready to be a husband or a head. And because he wasn't ready to be a husband or a head, what happened was he became a man in crisis. And this man in crisis, instead of enjoying the life of his child and preparing to care for his child and building a home and a family for his child, he is now preparing possibly for a double life sentence or maybe even a triple life sentence for this extremely reprehensible crime where he wound up murdering his child's mother, he wound up murdering her friend who was pregnant, and he might possibly even be charged for taking the life of another child. So this guy has gone from having his intangibles like his freedom to possibly winding up going to prison for the rest of his life, where after people find out that he's killed this child, they're probably going to want to beat him down, or they're going to want to talk about finding Bubba and Tiny and trading him for some Little Debbie snack cakes or some ramen noodles or some Kit Kat candy bars, 6-pack Oreo cookies, cans of Dr. Pepper. This is the final fate of this man because he was not prepared and trained for manhood. He was not prepared and trained to take responsibility as a man. And sadly, he thought he could again go over this fence and that the grass would be greener on the other side. But what he found on the other side were all of the same problems many black males complain about bad black women. But what was happening here is that he wound up getting jacked up because he wasn't ready to take on man-sized responsibilities. No, he had learned the culture of the whoremonger male, and because he learned the culture of the whoremonger male, he thought, oh, I'm going to have this woman out here. It's going to be a woman from a different race, but he wound up having the same problems, dealing with the same issues, and it was all due to the fact, again, because he had not been prepared for life as a man and never been prepared to understand that once you get involved with any woman, you have to be prepared, if you want to have a relationship with her, to get ready to either make her your wife or just not get involved with her at all. Because if you get involved with this woman and you're getting involved with her sexually, you have to understand there is a high possibility that this woman will become pregnant. And once she becomes pregnant, you are going to have to protect her, provide for her, and take care of her. And if you cannot do these things, then you are not ready for any kind of relationship, because when you get involved with a woman, it is not about you getting the panties. No, it is about you understanding that if you get involved with this woman, you need to be prepared to make her a wife. And if you're going to make her a wife, you have to prepare to build a household for her. And that's what a man does in a marriage. He is preparing to build a household and establish a household for himself and that woman so that they can be provided for. And he's preparing his home and his property so that she can be cared for. And if he cannot do these kind of things, he's going to wind up becoming a man in crisis, because what's going to happen is that as this woman becomes this baby mama, she's going to have all of these people whispering in her ear, oh, he can't take care of his responsibilities, oh, he can't take care of his own business. And all of this friction, all it's going to do is put stress on you, and that stress, all it's going to do is make you simmer and boil in anger like this individual did. And then eventually what you're going to do is start exploding in a rage, and then you're going to wind up hurting those who need you most, such as the woman who has bared your child and your child out here. Now, what I find to be interesting with a lot of these dudes out here is they will always be like, oh, I want to get with this woman when they're getting access to the panties, but when it's time to take responsibility for the child that is born and building a household with that woman, that's when these guys wind up falling apart. And that's the big difference between a man and a whoremonger male. A man understands that if he gets with a woman and he's had a relationship with that woman, he is working towards the goal of making her a wife, and understanding that if she is going to be his wife, that eventually she is going to give him children. That is all part of the relationship when you are a man. But when you are a male, you buy into false concepts from Madison Avenue and Hollywood, and these concepts have you believing, oh, I can go out here and have a girlfriend like some sort of teenager, and you're just going out here looking to gain sexual access to these women, thinking, oh, they're going to be more submissive and more cooperative to you. And when it's time for them to have children, these guys just aren't ready for this, and that's when they start to fall apart. And that's what I believe happened here with this individual, this Mamadou Kali, is he wound up finding out, oh, he was good with the girlfriend. He was good with her dropping the skid mark thong. He was good with getting his taste of the atomic waste. But when it was time for him to take care of the child, that's when he was starting to have problems, because nobody respected him as a man. And sadly, this is why he wound up exploding in rage, because he was out here being a male, and he could not get the respect of a man. And that's what led to him again becoming a man in crisis, and led to him participating in this behavior where he allegedly murder his girlfriend, not his baby mama, and this woman who was pregnant, and now he'll possibly be going to jail for the rest of his life, and he'll wind up in there with Bubba and Tiny being traded for Little Debbie snack cakes, ramen noodles, cups of coffee, chicken McNuggets, or whatever's in the commissary, all because he was not taught the life skills on how to be a man. He was not taught the survival skills on how to be a man. And one of the most important survival skills a man has to learn is to keep his rod in his pants and have self-control and understand that if you're not interested in marrying this woman, then you don't get involved with this woman, because if you get involved with this woman through fornication and you have a sexual relationship and have illegitimate children, what's going to happen is that woman isn't going to respect you, and that disrespect is going to only grow because she's not seeing you as a leader. She's not seeing you as an authority figure. She's not seeing you as a head. And when she doesn't see you as a head, what happens is you're not a man in her eyes, and that leads to you winding up becoming a baby daddy. And when you become a baby daddy, you increase your odds of becoming a man in crisis who winds up in prison for the rest of his life. Now, if you want to learn more about what motivates beta males like this to participate in their dysfunctional and violent behavior, you can pick up my book, The Man Crisis, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find The Man Crisis on Smashwords, the iBookstore, and Google Play. And if you want to see me do more men's issues videos like this, you can donate to my Patreon, my PayPal, or my Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.
Now available in paperback and e-readers, ISIS Legacy. The sorority secrets of the goddess next door are revealed in this all-new ISIS series adventure. Get ISIS Legacy in paperback and e-readers at online booksellers everywhere.